Where they cleared up a fender bender. Northbound side at 605 slows at Rosecrans. That's going to stay heavy up and down towards the 10. If you see any problems adding said northbound drive, let me know. Route 70 time traffic line is 888-500-5003. Lanes remain shut down on the 5 freeway. Southbound side just past the 60. All lanes blocked off and the drive backed up as you're coming out of Sun Valley. Northbound side, no lanes are blocked off anymore, but delays there from Imperial. Actually about Rosecrans. That stays slow out towards the 2. The Sage Automotive Group for over 40 years. The Sage family and Sage family of dealers has been Southern California's most trusted source for savings, selection, and service. Shop thousands of new and pre-owned vehicles from all makes and models at sageauto.com. Your next car is waiting for you at sageauto.com. I'm Tony Jordan. I'll tell you at 7 traffic.
So our friends at Orange County Mattress, one of our...
Attorney for help. You can call the IRS yourself and resolve your problems. But if you have a complex tax matter where you owe a large amount of taxes for personal or business, or have several years of unfiled tax returns and have received notices or even a visit from the IRS, you need to hire the absolute best. Call Strategic Tax Lawyers at 877-310-9800. Strategic Tax Lawyers is an experienced tax law firm headquartered in Santa Monica and run by a former IRS tax attorney. Don't get ripped off by tax relief companies that promise the world and deliver nothing. If the law firm can't help, they will at least point you in the right direction. Read their 5-star reviews at mytaxattorney.com. That's mytaxattorney.com. Or call 877-310-9800. 877-310-9800. This message has been brought to you by Attorney Jeffrey Jacobs.
KNX 1070 AM and HD. KAMP HD2 Los Angeles. KNX 1070 News Radio. Broadcasting live from the Southern California BMW Newsroom. Test drive a BMW 7 Series, the driver's luxury car today.
Top stories at 8:59.
We'll have more on the winds overnight and how they affected power and trees.
A plan to help finance the seismic retrofitting of thousands of earthquake-vulnerable buildings across L.A. to be unveiled later today.
And there's going to be a big tsunami warning test.
With Vicki Moore, I'm Dick Hilton. Traffic and weather together on the 5s, and CBS News is coming up next.
All news, all the time. Southern California's only all-news radio station.
It's 9 o'clock.
CBS News, I'm Steve Kafen, piecing together a mystery in the French Alps as investigators comb the wide debris field of the German jetliner that crashed yesterday. Others will be analyzing the black boxes, but it may not be easy. The voice recorder's damaged. The data recorder's been found, but the data chip is missing. CBS News aviation safety analyst Mark Rosenker on what they hope to learn.
It will tell us who was flying the airplane. It will tell us if the engines were working properly. It will tell us if there was a decompression in the actual aircraft itself.
In southern France, CBS's Elaine Cobb with more on the painstaking effort on the ground.
It's rugged terrain. There are lots of nooks and crevices and gullies, and the debris was scattered over a large area, shredded like confetti, as one observer put it. And so it's a difficult job of picking through everything they can get.
At least 2 Americans were among the 150 killed. The Washington Post identifies them as Yvonne and Emily Selke from Virginia. Supreme Court has sided with a former UPS driver tossing out a ruling that blocked her lawsuit against the company. CBS's Barry Bagnano.
The justices are giving Peggy Young another chance to convince courts UPS discriminated against her when she was pregnant. Young's doctor had told her not to lift more than 20 pounds. The company refused her request for light duty, though, saying special accommodations were not required. In today's decision, Justice Stephen Breyer suggests UPS might have accommodated other workers with similar needs, but he leaves room for the company to show it had a legitimate, non-discriminatory reason for acting as it did in Peggy Young's case.
The court also said a lower court should take another look at whether Alabama Republicans relied too heavily on race and redrew voting districts. A new study finds distractions were a factor in nearly 60% of crashes involving teen drivers, much higher than earlier estimates. Peter Kissinger of the AAA Foundation says it doesn't take much to put a distracted driver in danger.
1 second eyes off the road at 65 miles an hour is the equivalent of driving the length of a basketball court. So just imagine what it is if you have 4 seconds.
From Detroit, WWJ Radio's Jeff Gilbert has word of a Ford recall.
More than 200,000 Fords and Lincolns are involved in the recalls, including some that are used as police or ambulance vehicles. The problems range from a warning light that could illuminate improperly to doors that may not secure. No accidents or injuries have been reported.
At a Washington event, President Obama marked the 5th anniversary of Obamacare with a swipe at Republicans.
For folks who are basing their entire political agenda on repealing the law,
got to explain how kicking millions of families off their insurance is somehow going to make us more free.
Mr. Obama says he'd like to sign a bipartisan fix to avoid a cut in Medicare fees for doctors if that passes Congress. Wall Street right now, the Dow is down 158 points. This is CBS News.
We are learning of the death of an iconic TV weatherman.
High winds bring higher temperatures to much of Southern California.
This is KNX 1070 News Radio. I'm Tom Hewell.
And I'm Linda Nunez. It's Wednesday, March 25th.
Here's what's happening at 9:03.
Breaking news now on KNX 1070 News Radio.
Longtime KABC weatherman Dr. George Fishbeck has died. That word coming from his family. No word yet on the cause of death. We will have more on this breaking story as the day wears on.
A night of wind damage and blackouts throughout the Los Angeles area, and we can expect more winds, and they will intensify tonight.
A wind gust of 55 miles an hour dropped trees and tree limbs and knocked out power to over 2,800 homes overnight, most in pockets in the San Fernando Valley. National Weather Service senior meteorologist Andrew Rourke says even after the winds die off, we'll have another round of gusts tonight.
Little lull this afternoon and through this evening, but then again Thursday morning, a more typical Santa Ana northeast winds will be kicking on throughout the canyon.
And with the wind, the heat will be increasing along with the pollen count. Get ready to get uncomfortable. In Beverly Hills, Pete Demetrio, KNX 1070 News Radio.
Legislation is being proposed today to offer a tax credit to building owners who pay for earthquake retrofitting. State Assemblyman Adrian Nazarian of Van Nuys tells KNX his bill could help ease the financial burden.
This is a bill that's going to look at all the vulnerable properties and try to offer expense recovery up to 30% over a 5-year period.
In Los Angeles, Mayor Eric Garcetti is pushing to require retrofitting of certain wood frame buildings, mostly apartments that were built before 1980, above carports and may not hold up in a strong earthquake.
KNX News Time 9:05. Traffic and weather together on KNX 1070 News Radio. Problems? You betcha. Here's Deborah Simon.
Oh, yes, there are problems, and one of them continuing in the Ontario area this morning, that eastbound 10, just past Mountain Avenue. Injury crash here with that jackknife big rig and 11 other vehicles. The two right lanes, that's the what is open for you to move through there. That drive, though, jammed solid from the Kellogg interchange and then the westbound 10 as well. That's pretty heavy. They're coming away from the 15 freeway, so you definitely want to steer clear of the 10 through that stretch. You could use San Bernardino Avenue, you could use Earl Highway, but if you're not caught in any of this, definitely take the 60 or the 210 as alternates to the 10 through the Ontario area this morning. And then, of course, in East LA, we did have that problem that happened overnight, and about 25 minutes ago is when everything, all those connectors in the East LA interchange reopened. So everything is open, but it's going to take a while for things to smooth out. Definitely going to need to still give yourself extra time this morning. That's slammed all the way back into Burbank. Your southbound 170 portion of the Hollywood Freeway still tough. They're coming away from Sherman Way, and the eastbound 10 out of Santa Monica. That is where it messes up there. It looks like Bundy now, but all the way across to the 5 freeway. Definitely going to be dealing with delays on that eastbound 10. Also working with a crash in the North Hills area. This on the North 405. It's just before Nordhoff. A couple of cars involved in that wreck. The right lane has been blocked as they work on that one, and that's causing a backup North 405 starting at Sherman Way, and of course the southbound side, just its usual slow stuff from Sherman Way down to about Getty Center, where that South 405 does shake loose for you. Traffic and weather together on the 5s. Our next report at 9:15 from your Southern California traffic leader, KNX 1070 and CBSLA.com.
I'm CBS 2 meteorologist Evelyn Tapp with your exclusive 5-day forecast. Temperatures continuing to warm up over the next few days, and the Santa Ana is kicking in on and off at least through your Friday. Temperatures today warming up to the 80s. By tomorrow, we're talking 80s and 90s, and by your Friday, 90s in the forecast as well. We could even see record heat by Friday, getting slightly cooler by the weekend, but even then expecting temperatures in the 70s and 80s, continuing that way through at least Monday and Tuesday of next week. That's your 5-day forecast for the weekend, always in sight here at KNX 1070 News Radio.
Right now it's 63 degrees in Thousand Oaks, it's 70 in Santa Clarita, and 65 degrees in Studio City. KNX News Time 9:07.
There's a test of the tsunami warning system today, and you'll hear it here on KNX 1070 in the 10 o'clock hour. Jeff Reed, director of the LA County Office of Emergency Management, tells KNX is a total ring down.
The federal national...
Oh, you can...
You know, I think they need to change the name to make it less confusing. Yeah. For me. For me.
Woody will use an electric wheelchair that night so he doesn't have to walk.
You love a rascal.
It's time for a round of discount news, everybody.
Oh, yeah. We're gonna do some news.
Let's head on down all 15 feet where the Woody Show newsroom is. That's where Greg Gorey's standing by with what's happening this morning. Coming at you, Greg.
Coming at you, Woody. Yeah, I had TK carry me down here because I'm so lazy. There's this restaurant. It's on Lake Street in Pasadena called Conrad's. They're making the news. It's been there for decades. One of their loyal customers who's been going there for years and years and years is this attorney. Her name is Florencia Albert. But Florencia says she's not going to be going to Conrad's anymore because she says she's ashamed at how they treated a homeless man. Went down like this, according to Florencia. She was there the other day for breakfast, and in front of the restaurant was the homeless guy, Michael, and he had asked if she would buy him some French toast. She said sure. She invited him inside. He sat at the counter. She went to sit at a table, and she told the restaurant, give her his bill. You following so far?
Okay.
Yes. So a little while later, she saw Michael outside, and she asked him why he wasn't inside eating, and he told her that Conrad's would only allow him to get him some food to go. He had ordered ham and eggs and a Coke. Florencia did get the bill for $16 and some change.
And he got the food, though, right?
He got the food. So Florencia wrote about it all on Facebook, and she even posted a picture of this note that she had left for Conrad's, saying she's never going to eat there again because of how they treated this homeless man. Her post has people pissed at Conrad's. They have gotten a bunch of backlash. Their Yelp rating even went down. And in their defense, they say it went down completely differently. They say that Michael wasn't denied service and that they had no intentions of throwing him out of the place, but that the police had come because he had been panhandling right outside the restaurant doors before he sat down for his meal.
Which kind of makes sense if, like, that's what got the woman to buy him breakfast in the first place. Like, maybe he was panhandling, and she's like, oh, well, hey, if you want something to eat, I'll buy you something to eat. It's not like she was just walking down the street and said, oh, hey, do you want something to eat?
Yeah.
Right, true.
And how's there a receipt if he was denied service?
Well, she had the bill sent to her.
Yeah.
She bought it.
So he wasn't denied. He wasn't denied food. We know that much.
Right.
For all we know, yes, they told him to leave and not eat at the counter. But my question to the woman would be, if you're such a giving, kind, caring person, you care so much about Michael, you tell him, hey, you go sit over there. I'm going to be sitting over here where the normal, non-homeless people are sitting. You can't sit with me, but go sit at the counter.
I don't see that as a big deal. Like, I don't want to sit with some rando either.
Right.
You know, if I'm there to eat, I want to have a nice meal. Maybe I'm meeting somebody there, like, and all of a sudden now there's like a
No, I
third
totally.
wheel.
I
Forget the fact that he's a homeless guy for a second. You know, like I'd much sooner buy somebody a meal than just invite some rando to come. Hey, I want you to come sit with me.
I don't want to sit with a rando either, but I think if you're going to paint yourself, true. If you're painting yourself as this person who's just so caring, and then, well, you, by the way, go sit at the counter.
No, dude, I thought that was a very nice thing that she did.
It absolutely
like
is.
actually,
it absolutely
buying
is.
a meal. So
at the same token, though, I can see a business standpoint. If you have a restaurant, you might not want a homeless guy sitting in there. I get that.
Yeah. Well, hey, man, no shirt, no shoes, no service. You can refuse service to whoever you want. You know.
I mean, we can.
I don't know.
We're all adults. We know how sad it is when somebody's homeless. I don't think we need to review that.
Right.
But I think if you're being intellectually honest with yourself and you own, let's say, a sandwich shop, a coffee shop, any kind of business, you probably don't want homeless people hanging out there.
And the restaurant has helped the homeless in the past by donating.
Yeah, they say that they've given food, they've donated to charity.
A lot of people texting over right now saying that the panhandling issue is a really big problem in Pasadena, and they said the messed up part is that there are a lot of people who are panhandling aren't even homeless. It's just people, and you've seen those stories a number of times, like these people that make dumb money.
Oh, yeah.
Just panhandling all day.
True, and then they have video footage of them hopping into new cars and leaving for the day.
I mean, that's not everybody, but yeah, there's cases out there.
My point is, I can see if it's a big problem, and this guy was spotted out there panhandling. Somebody called the cops.
Yep.
And so that's why he was out. I mean, you know what I mean? I see how it all comes together.
Right.
I spend almost all my free time in Pasadena, and I have barely seen any homeless people. I'm surprised by this story.
And another thing, I think this restaurant will be fine. It's all the fake outrage online where people love to type
Just
things,
pile
but
on.
never do anything about it.
And hey, great news, the guy ate.
He did get his food.
Yeah.
When I worked at a video store, this is 100 years ago, this homeless guy would come in, especially in the winter, to avoid whatever the weather happened to be, really cold, really hot. He would come in, and he would order food, and he would I hate to say it, he reeked so bad that the employees of this video store would literally follow him around with a can of Lysol and spraying it. And then finally it would take the manager saying, I'm sorry, but you have to go. Because clearly you're not going to be renting any sort of videos here. But you were looked at like a bad guy if you asked the guy to leave. So I see the business's point of view as well. Over at the Home Depot in New York, there was a group of employees hanging out, and they were talking about ISIS. The
employees, I thought you were going to say lesbians.
The terrorist group, ISIS. So one employee thought...
Is that a true stereotype, by the way?
That lesbians like Home Depot?
Yeah.
I would think that's pretty true.
Really? I mean, I heard
Actually,
it.
the one, we have a friend
I heard it
that,
from a lesbian, and I'm like, I never heard that one before. That was a new one.
Mario's best friend met her girlfriend when she was working where? Home Depot. There's a lot of truth to it.
Okay. So maybe it's true.
Yeah, and if you need any carpentry work done, you call your lesbian friends. So these employees hanging out at Home Depot, and they're talking about ISIS. So one Home Depot employee thought, well, here's the perfect moment to join in on this conversation and also freak out my coworkers. He showed them the tattoo that he has on the inside of his bottom lip, and in all capital letters, it just spells out ISIS, which is pretty freaky. What? But the guy fired right then and there on the spot, but the whole thing was a giant misunderstanding. The guy had gotten the tattoo 4 years ago, has nothing to do with ISIS, and it has everything to do with the fact that his ex-girlfriend, or his girlfriend at the time, was named ISIS. They got each other's names tattooed on the insides of their lips to show their undying love, but they ended up breaking up a while later, but whatever.
That's how I know somebody really likes me.
Tattoos.
Yeah, they tattoo their lip for me.
So this guy took his tattoo getting fired story over to the local news station. They talked to the Home Depot, but the Home Depot is not giving him his job back, and they say that his firing wasn't just based on the tattoo, so it probably wasn't a good employee to begin with.
That sucks though, if like, you know, your name was ISIS.
I know, right?
Before ISIS became
totally
ISIS.
What was that Adult Swim show?
Oh, Archer. Archer worked for a group called ISIS.
Didn't they change
He doesn't
that?
anymore. He works for a branch of the CIA.
Yeah, not anymore.
Yeah.
You gotta change that name.
Right.
Doesn't work anymore. But it was also like a girl's name though too, right?
Yeah.
No, definitely.
Because that's who it was. It wasn't the guy.
Right.
It wasn't his name.
His ex is ISIS.
You wouldn't tattoo your own name.
Right.
Although I do know somebody, one of our really good friends, has his own name tattooed on himself 3 different times.
Several places.
What the hell's wrong with this guy?
He's the CEO of a Fortune 500 company, right?
All right, we're boss ass bitchin'. Raven's got your sports coming up next after the break here on The Woody Show.
Right after The Woody Show.
Well, you have this crash. Looks like they're still working to get it cleared in the North Hills area, North 405 before Nordhoff, still affecting the right lane there. And that northbound side of the 405 does get heavy still just past Sherman Way. And the southbound side of the 405 still tough as well out of the Van Nuys area. Continuing slow down through this Palvita Pass. It looks like it gets better for you, though, as soon as you get past the Getty Center exit there on that southbound 405. And, of course, we did have that signal alert with long playing wind in the East LA area this morning. A crash happened overnight, and all the connector roads in the East LA were closed for really the morning drive. Now, they have been reopened for about a half an hour, but still going to struggle there to get back to normal. Definitely give yourself extra time if you need to head that way. The southbound side of the 5 still jammed solid. Looks like almost into the Sun Valley area, that eastbound 10 out of Santa Monica, about 20th Street now. And also dealing with a crash now eastbound 10 at La Brea. The vehicles involved, though, made it over to the right-hand shoulder. Heard from Joni. She called and said south 605 worse than usual this morning. Jams up just past the 210. Looks like it's not going to get better for you till the 60. Now, there was a crash north 605 at Live Oak that's been taken off the freeway. Perhaps that added to those south 605 delays. And then we've got this signal alert that is just continuing in the Ontario area, eastbound 10. That one happened just past Mountain Avenue. It was a big rig that jackknifed 11 other vehicles involved in that one. Got the carpool 2 left lane still blocked because of that one. Both sides of that 10 are jammed up through the Ontario area. Definitely want to steer clear of the 10. Do the 60 or the 210 instead. Both of those moving well through the Ontario area. And then City of Orange, the southbound 5 at the 22. Got a crash here that's clearing off to the right shoulder. South 5, though, still slows at the 91 freeway, staying tough for you to Jeffrey Road. Traffic and weather together on the 5s. Our next report at 9:25 from your Southern California traffic leader, KNX 1070 and CBSLA.com.
CBS 2 weather, sunny today with highs ranging from the upper 70s at the beaches to the low 80s in the valleys. Should be warmer tomorrow with some 90s in store. Right now it's 73 in Riverside, 64 in Pasadena, 65 degrees in Long Beach.
This is Southern California's only all-news radio station, KNX 1070 News Radio. I'm Tom Hewell.
And I'm Linda Nunez. Coming up, the dangers presented by teenage drivers.
KNX News Time, 9:17.
The San Jose Police Department is mourning the death of one of its own.
Officers were responding to reports of a drunk, despondent man at an apartment complex Tuesday night when San Jose Police Chief Larry Esquivel says they were ambushed.
But officers responded to a call, a welfare check, at that location, and were met with gunfire.
Officer Michael Johnson, a 14-year veteran of the force, was shot and killed. Police returned fire, and the body of the suspect was later found on his balcony. Police spokesperson Albert Morales says this was the first line-of-duty death for the department in 14 years.
Officers were obviously crying, grieving. They will do so for quite some time.
Matt Bigler, CBS News, San Jose.
Less than a week after an internal report found poor safety practices at labs run by the Centers for Disease Control, the agency says a lab that handles rubella and other viruses caught fire.
The building houses about 470 employees. In addition to rubella, scientists in the building also work on measles, mumps, HIV, meningitis, and other pathogens.
CDC spokesman Tom Skinner says nobody was hurt, and it does not appear that anything leaked. They think the fire was sparked by faulty lab equipment. KNX News Time, 9:19. When searching for river cruises in Europe, search amawaterways.com.
Come on now. Enough is enough. It's the new year, and don't let another year go by without getting this fixed. Every year, you promise to do something to fix it. No more procrastinating. Give the ones you love what they really want this year. A quiet night's sleep together in the same bedroom. This is Dr. Jonathan Greenberg. That's Greenberg with a U. And I've spent years devoted to treating severe snoring. In fact, I invented a device that has freed thousands from sleep apnea and the CPAP machine. If you want to end your snoring, call me at 888-31-SNORE. If you love your partner, call 888-31-SNORE. If you've tried other treatments and failed, we excel at treating the difficult cases, the tough cases. Call 888-31-SNORE. I love what I do. I'm saving marriages and I'm saving lives. The next life I save may be yours. So if you're within the sound of my voice, we have a location near you. Call Dr. Jonathan Greenberg. That's Greenberg with a U for a free consultation. 888-31-SNORE. 888-31-SNORE. Give the ones you love finally a quiet night's sleep.
With 3 airplanes overhead, KNX helps me avoid traffic.
Accurate and dependable traffic solutions.
KNX gets me to work on time.
Traffic every 10 minutes on the 5. KNX 1070 News Radio.
KNX News Time, 9:20.
It may not get any easier than this for the Clippers. Here's KNX 1070's Chris Madsen.
Yeah, no doubt the Clippers get tossed a cookie tonight when they face the worst team in the association, the Knicks. Not only will New York take the court with a staggering 14-57 record, but they have also lost the last 5 meetings head-to-head with the Clips. Furthermore, the Clippers are 4-1 since big man Blake Griffin returned to the lineup, and the bad news for the Knicks is that he remains in search of the perfect game.
It's not possible, but why not try for it? I never want to go into a game and be like, I did good enough. Like, I don't think I've ever had a game like that. I've never had a game where I was like, that was the perfect game, or anything like that. So, why not keep pushing for that?
Oh, and when Blake has that perfect game?
Yeah, I'll let you know. If that ever happens, I'll let you know.
And we should also let you know that the Knicks have dropped their last 4 in a row. Tip-off from MSG is at 4:05. Then at 5:05, a real battle of the Titans will take place. And of all places, Minnesota, when the Lakers tangle with the T-Wolves. These two teams are a combined, get this, 71 games below the 500 mark. Tip-off is at 5:05. Exhibition baseball, Padres meet up with the Dodgers, and the Indians take on the Angels. The Kings are off tonight before hitting the ice tomorrow on Long Island. The Ducks are also idle before battling the Bruins on Thursday. Sports at 20 and 50 minutes past each hour. Chris Madsen, KNX 1070 News Radio.
There's no wrong way to celebrate getting a great home loan. High fives, fist bumps, we've seen it all. With Stonegate Direct, celebrate today with a 30-year fixed-rate loan at just 3.625%. That's right, 3.625% for 30 years with no lender or title fees. 3.688% APR. That beats those 15-year loans being advertised that can really increase your monthly payment. Don't get fooled. Rates are low, but won't last forever. And think about what you could do with the monthly savings. At Stonegate Direct, qualified borrowers can refinance or pre-qualify to purchase in just minutes. For details on costs and terms, call toll-free today at 1-844-READY-SET. That's toll-free 1-844-READY-SET. Or visit StonegateDirect.com. Stonegate Direct. Direct. Get your loan on. All loans subject to credit approval. Rates and other details refer to conventional loan product only and are subject to change. Stonegate Direct is operated by Stonegate Mortgage Corporation, NMLS number 186732. Non-licensed to originate loans in Alaska, Hawaii, Nevada, New York, Utah, and West Virginia. Visit StonegateMTG.com for complete licensing profiles. Equal housing lender.
KNX News Time, 9:22.
Price of gasoline is down again for the 20th day in a row. The average price for a gallon of self-serve regular in LA County is $3.31. In Orange County, it's $3.26. AAA says prices have dropped nearly 25 cents over the past 20 days after going up for more than a month.
New research on driving among teenagers is alarming, to put it mildly.